The final bombardment faded in the distance as dawn rose over the fractured surface of Varnal Prime. Smoke hung across the horizon like a weary shroud, drifting between shattered towers and cracked domes once home to millions. Among the broken skyline marched a lone human soldier named Corin. His armor was scraped and scorched from months of conflict, and each footstep sent a dull ache through his joints. Yet he moved with the steady calm of someone who had survived too much to be shaken by one more ruined city. Corin belonged to the Terran Frontier Corps, the small but stubborn defense force that represented humanity in the Galactic War, against fleets 10 times their size. Humans had fought not with superior firepower, but with relentless adaptability and an unwillingness to bow to fear. Those qualities had earned them the grudging respect of allies and rivals across the stars. Now the war was finally over. Peace had been signed, and Corin had been sent to Varnal Prime to help oversee the disarmament and humanitarian efforts following the surrender of the Varnal Dominion. His assignment that morning was simple: retrieve an encrypted ledger belonging to the late Varnal scholar Lord Helion and deliver it to the Allied Reconstruction Council. The ledger supposedly contained research essential to rebuilding the planet's failing atmosphere generators. Corin cared little for politics or diplomatic nuances. He only wanted to finish his duty so he could return home to Earth. Still, he understood the importance of small tasks in the wake of a colossal war. When he reached the entrance of Helion's estate, he found a large crystalline arch framing a courtyard littered with fallen marble leaves. The architecture of the Varnal people always blended beauty with deliberate symbolism. Every curve represented harmony. Every carved line represented continuity. Corin paused to look at the fractured patterns. Even in ruin, the symmetry remained striking. Inside the manor, the halls felt strangely intact. Pale blue light pulsed along the walls, powered by delicate conduits that had somehow survived the bombardment. Corin stepped cautiously, scanning corners and doorways. The war had taught him never to assume a quiet space was safe. Yet instead of danger, he found something unexpected. He found a girl. She stood at the center of a circular room, decorated with floating glass panels that displayed fragments of Varnal history. Her skin shimmered with faint rose hues, a trait common among her species, though her features were softer than most he had seen. Her hair fell like silver threads to her shoulders. Her eyes glowed with a gentle amber light that reflected the holographic displays around her. She wore a simple robe woven from iridescent fibers. Everything about her posture suggested calm, though her gaze carried the shadow of grief. When she noticed Corin, she bowed her head with slow precision. "You are the human assigned to retrieve Lord Helion's ledger," she said in clear galactic common. Her voice carried a musical resonance, rising and falling in soft waves. Corin nodded. "That's right. My command listed this location as secure. I didn't expect anyone else to be here." "I am Lyra," she answered. "I served in Lord Helion's household. I remain his final attendant. His last command was for me to safeguard the ledger until the reconstruction forces arrived." Corin studied her carefully. The Varnal Dominion often employed bonded attendants, individuals linked to noble houses by tradition rather than coercion. They lived, learned, and worked within the household as esteemed helpers, though the war had blurred many cultural lines. Corin did not know her circumstances, but he sensed no fear in her stance. "If you're the guardian of the ledger, I'll take it from you," he said. "Then you're free to go wherever you choose." Lyra tilted her head slightly. "By the terms of Lord Helion's will, the ledger is not the only thing you must receive. His estate laws were processed by the Allied Council. As part of the peace accords, all bonds within his household pass to the one who retrieves the ledger. This means that I pass to you." Corin froze. "No, that can't be right. It is the law of my people," she said. and the Allied Council has recognized it. She paused, then added with quiet dignity, "However, I will follow whatever path you decide. My purpose is to serve until dismissed with honor." Corrin felt a weight settle inside his chest. He had fought to end oppression and destruction, not to inherit authority over someone's life. The thought of claiming ownership over Lyra troubled him deeply, even if her culture framed it differently. "Listen," he said gently. "I'm not taking control of anyone. Once I get this ledger where it needs to go, you're free." Lyra stepped closer. Her expression remained calm, but her voice softened. "Freedom without guidance may lead to displacement. Many of my people who served in noble houses now wander with no purpose or protection. I do not wish to be lost among the ruins. If you release me, I may survive, but I may not live well. My last wish is to remain useful." Corrin exhaled slowly. War had reduced countless lives to uncertainty. If he simply walked away, she might face danger or exploitation in the chaotic aftermath. He could not allow that. "All right," he said at last. "You can come with me, not as property, as someone under my protection until you choose otherwise." A faint warmth touched her eyes. "Then I will follow." She retrieved the ledger, a smooth black prism encoded with shifting layers of memory. Corrin secured it in his pack and motioned for Lyra to follow him. Together they left the manor and stepped into the smoke-tinted daylight. The journey back to the command outpost took several hours. As they walked through broken streets and dormant spires, Corrin noticed how Lyra faced destruction with quiet composure. She paused to examine cracked solar veins embedded in the pavement. She touched shattered resonance pillars and whispered the names of their creators, as if honoring ghosts. Through brief conversations, he learned that she had served Helion since childhood. The household had been her home. Now all of it was gone. At the outpost, the Reconstruction Council greeted Corrin with relief. Engineers hurried to extract the encoded data from the ledger, while reports of atmospheric failures flashed across their monitors. Lyra waited near the entrance, still and patient. When Corrin finished his briefing, he approached her again. "I need to help with repairs," he said. "But you should rest. This might take a while." "I will assist however I can," she replied. Before he could answer, an alarm blared across the outpost. A holographic map lit up showing a breach at one of the atmospheric towers. Enemy holdouts had sabotaged the tower's stabilizer core. If it collapsed, the entire northern hemisphere would suffocate beneath toxic winds. Corrin grabbed his gear at once. "Lyra, stay here. This is going to be dangerous." She shook her head. "Lord Helion designed the stabilizer cores. I understand their mechanisms. If there is damage, I can guide repairs." Corrin hesitated. He had seen enough battlefields to know that civilians died quickly when caught in crossfire. But he could not deny that her knowledge might save thousands, and she clearly refused to be treated as helpless. "All right," he said. "Stay close to me." They boarded a skimmer transport and raced across the ravaged landscape. The tower rose like a tall spiraling needle above a field of cracked stone. Smoke curled from its upper rings where the sabotage had occurred. Shrill pulses of energy crackled through the air as rogue fighters fired at repair teams. Attempting to approach, Corrin led the charge with his squad. Bolts of ion light streaked past them as they pushed forward. Lyra moved with surprising agility, staying behind cover, yet watching the tower with analytical focus. When the squad reached the stabilizer gate, Corrin turned to her. "What do we need to do?" She pointed to the energy conduit running along the outer spiral. "The sabotage is focused on the harmonic regulator inside the third chamber. If it overloads, the tower will collapse inward. We must reach the regulator and realign the internal lattice." "Can you do it?" "I can guide you." Corin signaled his squad to provide covering fire. Together he and Lyra sprinted toward the chamber entrance. The air vibrated with unstable resonance as the sabotaged regulator pulsed dangerously. Inside the chamber, glowing plates hung at crooked angles. The walls trembled. Sparks leapt between misaligned nodes. Lyra stepped forward without hesitation. "Hold the lattice plate steady," she instructed, pointing to a panel flickering with crimson light. "Then rotate the coupling ring clockwise until the color shifts." Corin braced the plate while Lyra worked. Her movements were fluid and precise. She adjusted the internal connectors with an expertise that reminded him of a surgeon repairing a failing heart. The pulsing red light gradually softened to orange. The tremors began to settle. Another explosion rocked the tower. Dust rained down from the ceiling. Corin shielded Lyra as debris fell around them. She steadied herself and resumed her work without fear. When the final connection clicked into place, the regulator surged with bright white light. The harmonic lattice stabilized. A deep hum vibrated through the tower as it restored its equilibrium. "It is done," Lyra said softly. Corin exhaled in relief. "Let's get out of here." Outside, the rogue fighters had already been subdued. The rest of the tower shone with renewed stability. The atmosphere across the northern hemisphere would hold. Lives had been saved, and it had only been possible because of Lyra. Back at the outpost, engineers confirmed the success. Officers commended Corin for his leadership, but he redirected their praise toward Lyra, acknowledging that her knowledge and bravery had,